Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Welcome to the session. Can you hear me? If yes, please type yes in the chat box if you can hear me. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Ayub. Thank you, Surya. Thank you, Adarsh. Thank you, Vaibhav. Thank you, Varkar, Vinod. Thank you all. Let us stop the chat. Thank you, Meghra. Thank you. Let us stop the chat. Yes, yes. Let us stop the chat. I welcome you all again to this particular DevOps course. What's our plan for today? Our plan is to first I'll introduce myself, okay? And then first I'll introduce myself. And then we'll have an interaction with the participants. If anybody wants to talk to me, please raise your hand. So I will give you an opportunity to talk. So you can explain your requirements or your questions. Once we have an interaction session done, then we get into understanding the concept of DevOps. So you'll understand what is DevOps, why DevOps is one of the most important trending technologies right now in the job market. Okay. So what is the prerequisite for DevOps? So all these concepts we will be learning in our first demo session. Okay. Let's get started. So my name is Sunil Popavarapu. I am the founder of this organization, Logic Labs Technologies. I have total 11 years of experience in the IT industry. I have started my career first 3 years. I have started my career in Oracle applications platform. I worked in Oracle applications as a technical, as a functional consultant. Right from that era, I used to provide training online. And then I have got an opportunity to change my technology from Oracle applications technology to AWS cloud platform. And then I got an opportunity to work with DevOps on AWS. And I also got an opportunity to work with Python. So this is my journey. So total, I have 11 years of experience and close to 7 years of experience I'm having in online training. Okay, so this is I'm based out of Hyderabad. Okay, so this is a quick introduction about myself. Participants, if you want to introduce yourself, please raise your hand. I'll be giving an opportunity to have a talk. You can have a discussion. Good. Harlin, good morning. Welcome to the session. Your experience, your qualification, your location, and any specific reason why are you planning to learn DevOps? You are now allowed, Harlin.
Hi, sir. So I'm glad today to speak with you. So good morning, everyone. First of all, Sunil, sir, this
Did we
is
speak
some
before? Or is
sorry.
the first time we are interacting? Did you speak to her? Did you speak
um,
to me?
well, I have been trying to learn the cloud platform from last 5 years.
Oh my God.
So yes, yes. Due to some, issues, I am not being to learn. I start the AWS, I start the Python. I have taken the Python, I have learned it. I know the basics of AWS, but unfortunately, something happens and then my study stops. Something happens, then my study stop. Uh, you can say
One question. Where did you learn
focus
AWS? By
from here,
yourself?
from online as well as
Okay.
YouTube, from your
Mhm.
channel as well as so I have recommended people even, and they have already learned, and they are already settled in their career.
Mhm.
So being
Good.
shifting to the IT industry is my dream. I work in Accenture organization in the finance, but that is something you can say BPO industry, order to
Mhm.
cash.
Okay.
So yeah, my background is only Bachelor of Computer Applications, and yes, I have the basics of DOIC. I did the DOIC, but didn't complete. You can say I didn't submitted the project, or you can say I have not done the practicals. So I
Okay.
am here. That's why.
So your plan is to get into the core IT industry.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So your location?
Delhi.
Okay. Okay. So you
Yes.
already have learned AWS,
Um, you can say I.
basics of
Yes,
AWS.
basics of AWS.
Mm-hmm.
And after this, I just want to attend your class. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I was like, I
Did anybody
firstly,
recommended this institute?
no, you can say from Facebook, maybe I get
Mm-hmm.
to know about
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Harlin. You are in the right track. Okay. You already have learned AWS
Yes.
and then focus on DevOps. but
Right.
you have to complete it, not like previous experiences. Okay, once
Yes.
you starting is important, and completing with the same enthusiasm and with the same curiosity we have to learn till the ending, isn't it? Generally, the human psychology is we maintain the interest for first a couple of weeks and then we slowly lose the interest and we go out of track, isn't it? It's not only, it happens for me also. But the point is,
Yes.
once we are determined, okay, in learning the concepts, getting the knowledge, right? Not only right from day or first week, the same enthusiasm and the same, you have to spare some time, not just listening and then again coming to the session. 70-80% of the participants will
Yes,
be
sir.
doing so. They will just listen the sessions. They'll have they have, as we know, you can have access to the recordings anytime. So considering
Yes.
that advantage, we generally postpone practicing whatever we are learning. But only when you practice, spend some time, whatever we are learning, then you will get confidence. And once you build the confidence, we will share you some sample resumes. Once you create your own resume based on the topics which you're confident on, market is good, you will get an offer on DevOps. Okay. So only thing, curiosity, interest, and dedication, discipline. Okay. Will give you the
Yes.
results. Okay.
Absolutely.
And
Yes, sir.
thank you,
Thank you.
Harleen. All the best. Maybe
Thank you.
you have next couple of months, spend some time, focus more on DevOps. Definitely
Right.
you will get your career technology changed from the
Right, sir.
current industry to IT industry. Thank you, Harleen. Nice
Thank you.
talking to you.
Thank you.
So you have recommended your friends to this institute before?
Yes, I did.
So how was the feedback from them?
So, I have recommended them. So I'm not sure they joined or not, but yes, they also joined Power BI.
Mm,
So yeah,
okay. Good.
they have learned it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Harleen. Thank you for recommending.
Welcome.
Deepak Kumar, good morning. How are you? Your location, your experience, Deepak.
Hi sir. Hi sir. Good morning. This is Deepak. Sir, actually I am from Odisha. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Please proceed.
Yeah. So I am from Odisha. I have 4 years of experience in Java technology. I have worked in one company that is Dipole Solution Private Limited, that is based on the Pune. But still I work from home. I want to learn the AWS last 5 years back, but still I cannot proceed, sir. Whenever I go to the Hyderabad at 2018,
Your
that
volume is very low. Actually, you're getting an echo. Are
uh,
you using
hello.
headphones?
Yes, sir. I'm using
Yeah,
headphone.
please proceed. Yeah. So
Yeah.
8 years, 5 years back.
Yes, sir. I want to learn AWS Devops technology at
Mhm.
5 years back, but unfortunately, I did not get any chance to learn the AWS. Now I am really want to know the AWS because my company also want from my side to learn AWS and work in the DevOps area because I'm spending 4 years in the code development area. So I don't know how to plan to release the deployment and how to integrate the Jenkins pipeline. All the
Mm,
things I don't know. This is
mm.
actually I need to know how it's worked. So,
Yes, Deepak. Nowadays, having understanding on cloud platform, at least one cloud platform, even though you are a developer or you're from the operations team, is something which is mandatory, which
yeah.
will add value to the resume, even though you are sticking to the Java technology, having knowledge on AWS, because all the deployments are happening on cloud platform, isn't it, Deepak?
Yes,
So
sir.
we should have a minimum exposure on minimum number of services on AWS. Okay.
Yes.
So as you know, a combination of AWS, and are you planning to switch to the DevOps, Deepak? Or
No,
you are planning to stick to your existing Java technology?
no, no. Actually, I am planning to stick in my Java technology, but I want to know how it is working. I want to move to the one step forward tech lead. The
Okay.
company is providing me the opportunity for the tech lead, but I don't know how it's
Ish.
working.
Got it, Deepak. Yes. Yes. This will always add value. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. Because this is all about DevOps is all about implementing automation using Jenkins with respect to deployment, isn't it? And then
yes,
delivery.
yes.
So
Yes.
this knowledge will help you, okay, in your leadership role. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, Kavya.
Hi, Sunil. So previously, I took the AWS course that was given by Ankit, and I have completed the course, and I'm actually now working as associate AWS associate architect.
Congratulations. Okay, so you
Uh,
got, is it your first job?
no, it's not my first job. In the current company that I'm working, so I shifted my technology. Um, so my question is like my H1B is picked up and the stamping is due. So I want to travel to US as a DevOps engineer. So will this course be enough for me to shift to DevOps?
Yes, you are in the right track, Kavya.
Okay.
As you already are having exposure towards AWS, okay?
Yeah.
So combination of AWS and DevOps skill sets is always having an added advantage, and it has more number of opportunities. Okay, so you're in the
Okay.
right track, Kavya. So please acquire the DevOps. As you know, this particular course is purely learning DevOps on AWS platform. Okay,
Yeah.
we can learn
Yeah.
DevOps on AWS. We can learn the same DevOps tool on Microsoft Azure. Okay,
Sure.
but
Sure.
as you are at this course, as you can see the title, this is a DevOps course on AWS, and you are already from the AWS background. This is the right track for you. Please continue,
Okay.
and this will help you for getting better opportunities in US also.
Yeah, sure. And I don't have to take anything extra, right, for the Kubernetes and all stuff. Like if this everything like the course content.
This is enough. This is
Yeah.
enough for a
Okay.
DevOps professional. Kubernetes exclusive Kubernetes course is there. That is exclusive for Kubernetes jobs. But for
Okay.
a DevOps engineer job, this is enough.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning, Vinod.
Hi, Sunil.
Welcome. How are
Yeah,
you doing?
I'm fine.
Your experience, your location?
I'm having 2+ years of experience into ServiceNow administration. Basically, I'm from Hyderabad,
Okay.
so I want to shift to DevOps now. Is it right decision to move? You know?
And anybody can get into DevOps,
Yeah.
Vinod.
Does we
Okay.
need of any coding?
Yeah. I'm coming to that point. Anybody can get into DevOps. You may be from ServiceNow, you may be from the ETL background, you may be from the QA, you may be from the automation testing. Okay, you may be from the Java background or developer background. You may be system administrator or network administrator. Anybody can get into a DevOps role. Anybody can aim for a DevOps engineer. The only prerequisite for learning DevOps is that the participant should be comfortable with underlining cloud platform, that is AWS.
Yes. Okay.
Participants should have basic knowledge on AWS, okay? Because DevOps is a set of tools. Anyways, I'll explain in detail. But DevOps is a set of tools, and all this set of tools, we know we will be practically implementing on which platform we'll be practically implementing on AWS.
AWS. Yes.
So having exposure towards AWS will make yourself comfortable, okay? It doesn't now. So the point is, every DevOps engineer
Okay.
should have to understand DevOps. I'm talking about to understand DevOps.
Okay.
10% of AWS knowledge is enough. Okay.
Yeah.
But once you appear for an interview, okay, to understand
Yeah.
DevOps, 10% of AWS is enough. But when you go for a DevOps engineer role, they'll expect they expect a good, strong knowledge on AWS platform. So participants, you can learn DevOps first, and then you can learn AWS next. Or you can learn AWS first and then come to DevOps. Vice versa is also good. But finally, finally, once you prepare your resume should have a strong skill set on both DevOps tools as well as AWS services. Okay, so you know AWS.
Yes, I have a
Okay,
little bit knowledge on it.
good.
EC2 is enough for learning DevOps, you know?
Repeat your question.
EC2. EC2.
EC2 is more than enough. Okay, we'll be
Yeah.
discussing that. Okay, Vinod.
May I know the duration of the course?
I will explain all this. Okay, it is approximately 45 days, but can be extended. Total 2 months will be approximately.
Yeah. Thank you, Sunil.
Thank you, Vinod. One more final call before getting into the today's concept. Surya, good morning, Surya. How are you doing? Your location, your experience.
Hi, Sunil.
Yep.
Yeah, I have 10+ years of experience in Java and Python, and little bit experience in AWS Lambda as well.
Very good. Okay. Okay.
But actually, just now you told right that DevOps and AWS, that AWS and DevOps. Which one is like, if I don't know anything on DevOps means, is it okay to like,
You can join this course. You may,
Hmm.
if this is, you will start from the scratch, even though you are zero in, we are the zero in DevOps, even though you are zero in AWS. You'll understand this course. Okay. DevOps will focus on this. Okay. AWS also, I will teach what are the required prerequisite on AWS. I will teach. So even though you're zero in AWS, you'll understand what the DevOps tools is. But exclusively, my recommendation is to learn AWS course again. Okay. Got it,
Okay.
Surya? Even though you are
Yeah.
zero in DevOps, you are zero in AWS, you'll understand this course. I make sure that you will be very clear. But after the DevOps, I recommend you to learn exclusively AWS course. AWS course is also important. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Let's get started. Okay. It's one more important point. There is a WhatsApp group. There's a WhatsApp community created for this particular batch. Okay. So all the participants, I recommend you to join this particular WhatsApp group so that you get the updates. The WhatsApp group link I'm posting in the chat box right now. If you are already in the WhatsApp community, that's good. Especially for people who are not in the WhatsApp community, please join this WhatsApp community to get the updates about this particular batch. This is the WhatsApp community exclusively for this particular batch. So please join this WhatsApp group link, which I've just posted in the chat box, so that you can get the updates about this particular batch. Okay, let's get started. If anybody asks you, before getting into DevOps, you may have questions, Sunil, what is DevOps? What exactly is the role of a DevOps engineer? What will be the day-to-day responsibilities of a DevOps engineer? Sunil, I don't know this terminology at all, DevOps. So can you please explain that? Yes. Before getting into DevOps, I want to explain about this term called SDLC, Software Development Lifecycle. No doubt I'll explain about DevOps, but before explaining about DevOps, I want to discuss about SDLC, Software Development Lifecycle, because DevOps is something related to SDLC. Okay. So let's learn about SDLC. Stands for Software Development Lifecycle. As you can see in the slide, SDLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle. What does that mean? Okay, the full form is SDLC, Software Development Lifecycle. What does that mean? Take an example, look at this. Let's say you have a client, assuming a banking client. This particular bank needs an internet banking application to their customers. This particular bank needs an internet banking application to the customers. Okay, so whenever this is a requirement of a particular bank, so this particular bank generally approaches software companies like Infosys, is it? TCS or whatever it is. Always the clients will approach the software development companies, explaining the requirements, saying that they need an internet banking application. So software companies will take the requirements, and they end up delivering the required product to the customer. Typically, this is what happens, right? Client gives the requirements. Let's say ICICI Bank is a client. Client gives the requirements to a software company. Software company takes the requirements. They develop the product and deliver it to the customer. This is what happens technically in the industry. When companies like Infosys, software companies like Infosys, Wipro, whatever it is, takes the requirements from the customer or the client, take the requirements from the client, they have to follow a professional approach in building a particular product or a project. They cannot develop the project or a product in an ad hoc manner. There is a professional, streamlined approach of building a particular product and delivering it to the customer. A step-by-step, professional, streamlined approach, right from requirements gathering till the delivering of the product to the customer. This approach is called as, this process is called as a software development lifecycle. There's an approach. For example, you want to build a big apartment of 20 floors, a tower of 20 floors. There's a professional approach. You cannot build the tower as ad hoc basis. There's a professional streamlined process of build right from requirements gathering and delivering the product to the customer. This professional approach of building a product and delivering it to the customer is called a software development lifecycle. And in this software development lifecycle, there are several models. There are several models of software development lifecycle. That means there are several approaches. There are several professional approaches of building a product and delivering it to the customer. If you can see in the slide, there's one model called Waterfall model. You can develop the product and deliver it to the customer using the Waterfall model. There's one more model called Agile model. There's one more model called Spiral model. There's something called the V model. There are different models in software development lifecycle. There are different models in the software development lifecycle. I want to restrict myself with two popular models. I want to restrict myself with two popular models. What is Waterfall model? The other is Agile model. The most successful model as of now in the industry is the Agile model. The most successful model in the software development lifecycle is an Agile model. But before getting into Agile model, I want to discuss about Waterfall. Before getting into Agile model, I want to discuss about Waterfall model. So let's spend some time. Waterfall model is first of its kind. The first professional approach of taking the requirements from the customer and then delivering the product to the customer. The first professional approach is Waterfall. So let's discuss about Waterfall model, how the products are built and delivered to the customer using the Waterfall model. Let's have an understanding of the Waterfall model, and then we'll have a comparative analysis and Agile model. Waterfall model is not used now. It is one of the oldest models. It is not used now because Waterfall model is suffering with some disadvantages. So what are the disadvantages of the Waterfall model? First, let's understand the Waterfall model. Let's understand the problem with the Waterfall model, and then we'll have a comparative analysis Agile model. Then you'll understand what is the advantages of Agile. Having this understanding, then after understanding this Agile model, then we'll get into the DevOps. Because DevOps closely works with software development, especially Agile model. Okay, so let's start with Waterfall model. How the products are built and delivered to the customer using the Waterfall model. This is how it happens in the Waterfall model. Please observe. The first stage of the Waterfall model is the requirement stage. The first stage is the requirement stage. Not only the Waterfall model, every model starts with the requirement stage. Not only the Waterfall model, every model starts with the requirement, because it is very important to understand the requirements of the client. It is very important to understand the requirements of the client. So every model starts with the requirements. Okay, there will be regular meetings between the client and the software company. There will be regular meetings between the client and the software company, and the requirements have been taken very, very clearly. They have to be documented very, very clearly. When requirements is very important, because when the requirements are clear, then only we end up delivering the right product to the customer. If the requirements are not clear, then obviously the product what we deliver cannot be used. So the most important stage in every model is the requirements model. So the requirements, there will be regular meetings between the client and the IT company, and the requirements has been gathered. And once the requirements part is done, the next stage is analysis part. Once the requirement is done, the next stage is analysis part. Now, what happens in the analysis part? In the analysis part, the first stage is requirements. Once the requirements gathering is done, the next part is Analysis. Now, what happens in the analysis part? In the analysis part, participants, the technology components are decided. Using which technology we have to build the product? Should we develop using Python? Or should we develop using Java language? Or should we develop using .NET? Which database should we use? Should we use MongoDB? Or should we use Oracle database? Or should we use SQL Server database? Which middleware should be used? Should we use Tomcat? Should we use WebLogic? Should we use WebSphere? Should we use JBoss? The technology components are decided. Clear? The second part is analysis part. In the analysis part, the technology components are decided. Okay, assuming that the Java product should be developed using Python and the backend is MongoDB and the WebLogic is the middleware. So that's how the technology components are decided. Once the technology components are decided, next stage is the design stage. Once the technology components are decided, the next stage is the design stage. Now, what happens in the design stage? The complete product is divided into modules. The complete product or a project is divided into modules. Assuming a banking application. Assuming that the client is ICICI Bank and the client needs an internet banking application, the complete product or project is divided into modules. Savings account, one module. Current account, one module. NRI banking, one module. Wealth management, one module. Credit cards, one module. Customer care, one module. Loans, one module. The complete project is divided into modules. Breakdown. The data flow diagrams. The user interface, the user experience, the workflows, all these are designed. How the user interface looks like, how the menu looks like, how exactly it should appear. What should be the workflow, how exactly the data needs to be processed. What will be the experience and what will be the experience of customer, or how exactly the user interface. When I click on next button, what should be the workflow? This is all happens in the design stage. Clear? First, requirements. In the analysis part, the technology components are decided. And the design stage, the complete project is divided into modules. The data flow diagrams, the user interface diagrams, user experience diagrams, the workflows, everything is documented in the design stage. So design team comes into the picture here. Once the complete project is divided into modules, once the entire project is divided into modules, once the design is done, then comes the role of a programmer. The next part is coding part. Here comes the role of a programmer or a developer. If it is a Python technology, the Python developers will be there. If it is Java technology, Java developers. Here comes the role of a coding part. The development team takes the documents from the design team. Isn't it? Obviously. So development team should have supporting documents. So development team will take the design documents from the design team. So from the as per the design team, they start developing the code. They take documents and try to satisfy the documentation by writing the code. This is what happens in the coding part. Once the coding has been completed, once the project is developed, we will not deliver without testing. The next part is testing team. You can see here, next stage is testing part. Testing team will jump into action. Test whether the product which is developed or built is as per the requirements or not. It could be manual testing or automation testing. So testing team will check for the quality of the product. Assuming everything is positive, assuming the coding has been perfectly done and the product is perfectly built, obviously, we deliver that particular product to the customer. This professional streamlined approach, step-by-step approach of building a particular product and delivering the product to the customer is called as what model? Waterfall. This approach is called as waterfall. The first of its kind, the first model in the software development lifecycle is waterfall model. Waterfall model is used probably 2 decades back, 20 years back, or 30 years back. But not now. Now, waterfall model is not used because waterfall model is suffering with some disadvantages. As we now had an understanding on the waterfall model, let's have a disadvantage of the waterfall. What's the problem with the waterfall? As the name suggests, as it is a waterfall model, as the name suggests, in a waterfall, water falls from top to bottom, isn't it? There's no chance of waterfall going back. In the same way, in this particular model, there is no concept of going back and changing something. There's no concept of going back and changing the design. There's no concept of changing the requirements. As the name suggests, waterfall model, we freeze the requirements. There'll be regular meetings between the client and the industry, by intent the product development company. Let's say, for example, client is an ICICI bank and the software development company is Infosys. Let's say the requirements as freezed on 1st January 2024. Assuming the requirements part has been completed. There's a regular meetings between the client and the requirements has been gathered and the requirements stage has been completed on 1st January 24. Once the requirements has been completed, if the client again comes after 2 months and they says that I want some small changes, no, it's not possible. The soft waterfall model does not encourages the clients to give new requirements. Does not encourages the clients to give new requirements. Once the requirements are freezed, that's it. According to the requirements, technology components are decided. According to the requirements, design is done. According to requirements, coding will happen. According to the requirements, testing will happen. That's all. There's no concept of going back and changing something. Assuming the coding team is started the coding part, and then later design team wants to make some changes, it's not possible. As per this waterfall model, there's no concept of going back and changing something. As per the freeze design, the coding happens. So the waterfall model does not encourages the clients to give new requirements, which is one of the most important disadvantages in the industry now. In the current industry, the business is very dynamic. Clients wants the requirements to be changed. They want the model to be very robust, flexible. Waterfall model is not flexible. Does not encourage the clients to give new requirements. One of the main disadvantage is there is no concept of going back and changing something. There's no chance of changing the design. There's no chance of changing the requirements. As per the freezer requirement, the rest of the happens. If the client wants to give the new requirements, it's not, clients are not supposed to give new requirements as per the documentation. Perfect. This is how the waterfall model probably is successful probably 2 decades back. Now the industry is very dynamic. Client wants to keep the changing the requirements. Your model should be robust enough to accept the new requirements and deliver the product. So that's one of the main problem with the waterfall model is we cannot go backwards. There's no concept of going back and changing something which is already freezed. That's about the waterfall. The second disadvantage of the waterfall model, participants, the second problem with the waterfall model is one team will depend on its previous team. One team will wait for its previous, one stage will wait for its previous stage to get completed. When the testing team will jump into action and when they start working, testing team will work only after completing the coding part. Are you understanding? Testing happens only after completing. Testing happens only after completing the coding part. Assuming the project manager has given an estimate that the coding will take approximately 6 months of time. This is an estimate given by the project manager saying that the coding part will take approximately 6 months of time. So the testing team will wait for how many months? Test 6 months. Testing team will wait for 6 months to get the coding completed. So these testing resources are idle for 6 months. One resource will wait, one team will wait for the other team to complete the work. Now, project manager has given an estimate that they need 6 months of time and the number of resources they are required to complete the coding part is 20 developers. The strength is 20 developers and the time required is 6 months. This is what the estimate given by the project manager. Coding should start after completing the design part. Design team says that they need 2 months of time to complete the design part. Design team has given an estimate that they need 2 months of time to complete the design part. So 20 developers will wait for how many months? 2 months. Coding will start only after completing design. One stage should start as per waterfall model. One stage will start only after completing its previous stage. Only after completing the testing should start only after completing coding. Coding will start only after completing the design. Design will start only after completing analysis and requirements. Every team will wait for its previous team to complete their job. Testing team will wait for the coding part to complete the part. The coding team waits for 6 months. Coding team says that they need 2 more months. Let's say 8 months. This testing team should wait for 8 months. There's no other option. Because of the dependency between one team to other team, because of the dependency between one resource to other resource, it's very, very difficult to meet the deadlines to the customer. Clear? So these are the main important drawbacks of the waterfall model. So I already have documented it. Please look at this. It is very difficult to estimate the time and cost for each phase. Once an application is in testing, it is very difficult to go back and change something which is not well. There's no concept of going back and changing. It is not good for complex and object-oriented. And next, it is not suitable for projects where the requirements are very high risk of changing. This is not at all suitable for the customers whose requirements are frequently changing. So this is the main problem with the waterfall model. My dear participants, am I clear? Please respond in the chat box. Am I clear in explaining you what is waterfall model? What are the steps involved in the waterfall model on a high level? What's the problem with the waterfall model? Waterfall, as a waterfalls from top to bottom, there is no concept of going back and changing something which is not at all suitable for the current requirements. Okay, it's very, very difficult because one team will wait for the other team to complete their job. It's very, very difficult to meet the deadlines, and it's very difficult to deliver at the right products to be delivered at the right time, at the promised time. Thank you very much for your responses. So you had an understanding about the waterfall model. As you know, our demo session is discussing about the next model called as an agile model. As you know, we'll be discussing about the waterfall model and the agile model. So let's discuss about the agile model. Participants, the most highly successful model as of now is agile model. Okay. So there are a lot of books explaining about agile model. Okay. There are books of 300 pages or 400 pages books. There are a lot of books explaining about agile model. I have read that books. I'm giving you a gist of it. Okay. On a high level, I'm explaining about agile model in 10 minutes, the cream of agile model. Try to visualize how exactly the products, why agile model is most preferred. I'll explain the concept of agile model in just 10 minutes. Try to understand the cream, the main difference of how exactly products are delivered in the agile model. Look at this. This is the disadvantages of the waterfall model, talking about agile. Before explaining you about the agile model, please have a look at the theory. You have to understand the terminology. You have to understand the terms. Don't worry about the sentences. Pick up the important terms. Agile model is also called as incremental model. Look at the term incremental. Software is developed in rapid cycles. Pick up the term rapid cycles. This results in small incremental releases. Keep this in mind, incremental releases, which each release building on its previous functionality. Each release is thoroughly tested and quality is maintained. That's good. Okay, so the quality is not compromised. Quality is maintained in the agile model. Next terminology. Agile software development method emphasizes on iterative, incremental, evolutionary. Pick up these words. Iterative, incremental, evolutionary, incremental, rapid cycles, incremental releases. Sunil, what do you mean by iterative, incremental, evolutionary, rapid cycles? All these theory, let's try to understand with an example. All this theory Let's try to understand with an example. This is what the requirement of the client, right? ICICI Bank is the client. They need internet banking like this. This is how the internet banking, this is what their expectations is. Okay. What happens in the, I'm talking about the comparison between waterfall model and agile. Now, what happens in the waterfall model? What I'm talking about the waterfall model, we already have the step-by-step stages in the waterfall model. The first stage, requirements. In the waterfall model, the first stage is requirements. Now, what happens in the requirements? What happens in the requirement stage? There will be regular meetings between the client and the software development company. The requirements team will take the requirements of personal banking. They take the requirements of privileged banking. They take the requirements of personal banking. They take the requirements of privileged banking. They take the requirements of wealth banking. They take the requirements of private banking. They take the requirements of NRI banking, business banking, small and medium scale enterprises, and corporate banking. They take the requirements of all the modules, and then they declare it as requirements is completed. Requirement stage has been completed. In the waterfall, that's what this is what happens in the waterfall model. The first stage is requirements. They take the requirements of all the modules. What is second stage? Second stage is analysis. That's not specific to module. The third stage is design stage. The design team will come into action. They design the personal banking module. They design the privileged banking module. They design the wealth banking module. They design the private banking module. They design the NRI banking module, business banking module, small and medium player. They design all the modules and then they declare it as design completed. They take the design of all, they design everything. They design all the module 1, module 2, module 3, assuming 10 modules. They design all the 10 modules and then they declare to the client saying that design stage has been completed. After design, coding part, developers will come into action. Developers will work on personal banking coding. They develop the code for privileged banking. They develop the code for wealth banking. They develop the code for private banking. They develop the code for NRI banking. They develop the code for business banking. They develop the code for small and medium scale enterprises. And then declare saying that the coding part has been completed. After coding part, what happens? The testing team will jump into action. They test the module 1, they test module 2, they test module 3, they test module 5. Like this, they test all the modules and then they declare saying that the testing has been completed. Next, we deliver all the entire project to the customer at once in one single shot. This is what happens in the waterfall model. Stage by stage approach. Requirements completed. Design completed, coding completed, testing for all the modules completed, and we deliver all the modules to the customer. This is what happens in waterfall model. Whereas in the agile model, it's completely different. Iterative, incremental, evolutionary development, rapid cycles. These are the terminologies what we have discussed in the theory, which we have identified in the theory of agile model, right? Let's try to understand how agile model is different. Why software companies are preferring agile model? As I told you, agile model is the most widely used model in the world. How is it different from other models? Look at the way agile model works. Look at this. You have to understand this one small technique of agile model. First, requirement stage. Every model starts with the requirements. So requirements team will take the requirements of personal banking. One module, the requirements has been completed. Once the requirements has been completed, they take the second module, privileged banking. Requirements team will be busy taking the requirements of the second module. When the requirements team is busy taking the requirements of the second module, design team will jump into action. They start designing the module 1. Why should we wait? As per waterfall model, design team will work only after completing all the requirements of all the modules. But in agile model, parallel development. So here, two teams are busy. Requirements team busy taking the requirements of second module. Design team, busy designing the first module because the requirements of the first module is already completed. Next iteration, assuming the second module requirements is completed, the requirements team will take the requirements of wealth banking. Assuming design for the first module is completed, design team will be busy designing the second module. Coding team will be busy coding the first module. Super. Parallel execution. So total, how many teams are busy? Tell me. Requirements team is busy with third module. Design team is busy with second module. Coding team is busy with the first module. Are you understanding? Next iteration. Look at this. Requirements team busy taking the requirements of fourth module. Design team busy designing the third module. Coding team, they have completed the coding first module. They move on to coding second module. Testing team will jump into action. They test the first module. Even testing team is also busy. So look at this. The entire workforce is busy. Productivity is improved. In an organization, all the teams are working. Every team is busy with the particular module. Testing team is busy, testing module. Development team is also busy. Design team is also busy. Requirements team is also busy. So a complete workforce is in action. How productivity increases, isn't it? Next iteration. Requirements team busy taking the requirements of NRI module. Design team busy designing the private banking. Coding part busy coding the wealth banking. Testing team busy testing the privilege banking because first module is already tested. Assuming first module is positive, we deliver the first module to the customer. We deliver the first module to the customer. At least customer is happy. They can experience how exactly one module is working. They can perform end user testing. Are you understanding? There's no hard and fast rule that the entire project should be delivered at once. That what happens in the waterfall model. In the agile model, iterate incremental model. First, we deliver one module. Maybe in 2 weeks, we'll deliver the second module. At least clients are happy. They can visualize what's happening. They can experience how exactly the product is. So what are you doing? You're breaking the dependencies by evolutionary development. So this is how agile model. Most important, customers can experience particular module and they can give the agile model is encourages the clients to give new requirements because we repeat the cycle with the new requirements. If the client gives new requirements, agile model will welcome the new requirements. They take the new requirements and repeat the same cycle. Rapid cycles. That's called rapid cycles. So on all aspects, it's as complete workforce is in action, it's very easy to meet the deadlines. Agree? It is very easy to meet the deadlines from the client point of view. Also, client is very happy because the product is delivered in much more faster, right? Okay, software company is also happy because they're delivering the product at the promised date. So for example, if you have a comparative analysis, the waterfall model takes 2 years of time to deliver the product. Assuming if a waterfall model takes 2 years of time to deliver the product, the same product, same quality in agile model, you can deliver it in just less than 1 year. Just less than 1 year. So more than 50%, you can speed up the delivery process. So clients are happy, the software company is also happy, the entire workforce is happy. You can easily manage the budgets of a particular project. Clear? So how exactly, please respond in the chat box. Am I clear in explaining how exactly the meaning of these terms, iterative? Okay, I hope you are very clear now with respect to understanding the meaning of the term iterative, incremental, we'll release it, not all at once, incremental way. Evolutionary way. Clients are also happy. Encourage the clients to give new requirements. You can anytime client gives a new requirement. So these are the advantages of the waterfall model. That's the reason, as I told, advantage of the agile model. That's the reason waterfall model is not much used because clients are the kings. They are allowed to give the requirements at any given point of time because of the business dynamic conditions. The agile model is the preferred. So, okay, we have an understanding about the waterfall model. We have an understanding about the agile model, how exactly the products are built and delivered, the professional approaches. That's good. But our concept is DevOps, right? Our concept is DevOps. So, Neil, now what we are planning to learn is DevOps. Yes. Now, why the software development lifecycle is related to DevOps is the concept is. With respect to waterfall model, if the waterfall model takes 2 years to deliver the project, the same project using agile model, you can deliver it in just 1 year. But now the industry is in such a way, the clients are in such a way that they give the requirements now. They want the projects to be delivered in just 4 months. They're not ready to wait for 1 long year. Even 1 year is also a long time for the customers. Clients give the requirements now. They want the product to be delivered in just 4 months or 3 months. At such a faster rate, the clients are expecting the products to be delivered. When compared to waterfall model, agile model is speed, no doubt. But now even agile model is not sufficient. We need a catalyst which will help in speed upping the process. Even 1 year is a long time for the current industry. Clients are giving the requirements now. They want the product to be delivered in just 4 months or 3 months. At such a faster rate, the clients are expecting the products to be delivered. So to achieve this speed, to deliver the products at much more faster rate, okay, top IT companies have done a research work to understand the reason for the delay. Even though the customers are using agile model, even though agile model is used, they have done analysis to understand the concept of the delay. Top 50 IT companies have done a research work for 5 years to understand the reason for the delay in the software development process, even though agile is used, or any model in fact. After doing a research work, they have identified the reason for the delay in the software development process, even though it is agile model or any model. The main reason for the delay is because of the gap between development team and operations team. This is the result of the research work done on this concept of delay in the software development process. The delay happening in the software development companies to meet the deadlines is the problem between development team and operations team. This is causing the delay in the software process. If we can fix this particular gap between the development team and the operations team, obviously we can deliver the products at 4 months also. You can speed up the delivery process, much more speed up, you can catalyst. Okay, now it is our responsibility to understand this particular problem statement, the gap between development team and the operations team. To understand this statement, you have to understand 2 important terminologies, development team, and you also have to understand the concept of operations team. If you're clear in understanding what you mean by development team, if you're clear in understanding what you mean by operations team, then this statement will be very simple. So you have to be very clear, participants, you have to be very clear in these 2 important terms, development team and operations team. What is development team? Participants? You may think development team is very simple, Sunil. Development team is nothing but group of developers. If it is a Java project, group of Java developers is a development team. Yes, you are right. If it is a Python project, group of Python developers is a development team. Yes, you are right. Development team is group of developers. No doubt. It's very easy to visualize. Now, we also should understand about operations team. What do you mean by operations team? Ops team. Especially participants who are having non-IT experience. People already having IT experience, they can understand what is the operations team. People from no IT experience, freshers, or people who are having from other domains, you have to be very clear in understanding what is the operations team. What is operations team? Development team, okay, group of developers. Yes, it is right. No doubt. We have to be very clear in the term called operations team. What is operations team? What are the responsibilities of the first? What are the operations team? Okay, so look at the way we have to understand the operations team. Okay. Assuming a small software company of 100 employees. Okay. 100 employees. A small company which is having 100 employees. In a company of 100 employees which are building for a particular project, 100 skilled resources recruited for a specific project or product. Right from first employee to the last employee, right from first employee to last employee, do you think everybody is a developer? In a company of 100 employees, do you think everybody working in the IT industry is a developer? Very big companies like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, they boast saying that we have these many thousands of employees worldwide. Do you think everybody is a developer? Everybody is specific to a particular project. I'm not talking about receptionist or HR or whatever it is. I'm talking about billable resources. There are 100 billable resources in a company, a small company, 100 employees, billable resources for a particular project. Do you think everybody is a developer? No, it's not the case. Don't be under the impression that all the IT skilled resources working for a particular organization, everybody is a developer. It's not the case. Do not think that everybody is a developer. Maybe 50%, probably 50 resources are developers. What about the other 50 resources who are not developers? They're not developers. They don't do Java coding or they don't do Python. They are not developers, but they are still very important for the project. You cannot ignore these people who are not developers. These set of people who do not belong to development team, but they're still very important. They're skilled, they're billable for the client. These called of people are called as operations team. Team that does not belong to development team, but still they're critical, billable, highly skilled, or called as operations team. You may have a question. Okay, Sunil, 50 developers. Okay, I understand what the developers will do. Developer will develop the code. What will be the day-to-day responsibilities of the other 50 people who does not belong to development team, but still there? You said that it's very important. Yes, it is important. Please don't be under the impression that only developers are important in the company. Don't be under the impression that only developers are great or developers are important. The other type of people are also very important. They are also highly paid and highly skilled. This set of people who does not belong to development team are called as operations team. The next question that comes to your mind, Sunil, so what will be the day-to-day responsibilities of operations team? I'm coming to that particular point. The problem with the delay is the differences between development team and operations team. Okay, now let's come to the concept of operations team. What will be the day-to-day responsibilities of the operations team? Installing the server hardware. Every project will have server, right? You'll have a server room. It is whose responsibility to maintain server room? It is whose responsibility to monitor the servers? It is whose responsibility to perform upgradation? It is whose responsibility to take the patching? It's a very difficult job. It is whose responsibility for managing the operating systems? It is whose responsibility to configure? Do you think the Java developer will configure the servers and configuring the network, configuring the storage, configuring the firewalls, configuring the subnets? Do you think it is developers' responsibility? Who will be monitoring the servers 24/7? These people work night shift also. Who will respond if the server is down? Who will maintain the security? Who will perform version controlling? It is whose responsibility to plan for backup and disaster recovery? Production support. Once the product goes live, it is whose responsibility to support that particular product? Production support team. Network administrators, database administrators, middleware administrators. All these skilled people who do not belong to development team. Database administrators are not developers. Middleware engineers are not developers. but still they're very critical and very important. So these set of people are also required along with the development team. So these set of people belongs to operations team. Clear? So there are a group of people who are developers. There are a group of people who are not developers, but they are very important, like database administrators, middleware administrators, production support, infrastructure engineers, site reliability engineers. So these are all very important. Okay, and as a backend team, they're very important to support the customer. Clear? So these are the data. Now coming to the problem statement. What do you mean by gap between development team and operations? I'll give a simple example. Development team, let's say, needs Oracle database version or database server version 19c. Assume this is what the development team requirement. They want an Oracle database instance for the developmental activity. They want to use backend as Oracle. It is whose responsibility to provision this particular database server. In Oracle, there's a concept called Oracle Database Admin, DBS. It is DBS responsibility to install it. They take one server, they install the required version, and then they provide the log credentials to the development team. So here the scenario is development team needs an infrastructure requirement, and it is a skilled resource of DBA's job to provide the required infrastructure. Now, if the DBA is on leave for a period of 1 week, what is the problem? Development team is having a delay. The problem statement is this one such example. The problem statement is gap between development team and the operations team. If the DBA is not is on leave, if the skilled resource is not available, or if the infrastructure is not available, all the servers are full. Then happily operations team will give a requirement saying that please do not give ad hoc requirement. At least we give 10 days of time to provision the infrastructure. So these are some scenarios where there is a lot of differences between development team and operations team here, causing the delay in the software development process. Clear? So here comes the role for a DevOps engineer. So to collaborate development team and operations team, to collaborate, as you know, there is a difference, a gap between development team and operations team. To collaborate development team and operations team, here comes the role of a DevOps engineer. The term DevOps is derived from two words, dev and ops. Dev stands for development team and ops stands for operations team. This concept, DevOps, whatever learning, the term DevOps is derived from two words, development and operations. What is your responsibility? DevOps is a set of tools. DevOps is a set of tools. Please look at this. DevOps is a method which promotes collaboration between development team and operations team. So whatever the gap which is causing the delay, we have to fix that gap by using the DevOps tools. DevOps is a method, and that method can be implemented by using tools. DevOps is a methodology. That methodology can be implemented by using the tools, which helps in collaborating between development team and operations team. For example, just now, which I have stated, if a development team needs Oracle DBA instance, if the DBA is not responsible, as a DevOps team, we can provide the database instance, even though we don't need to learn DBA, by using the DevOps tool called Docker, infrastructure provisioning tool. If the DBA is not available, we can provide the infrastructure so the development team can continue the developmental activity. That's how the tools will help in collaborations. So DevOps is a methodology which will collaborate the development team and the operations team. This helps in deploying the code into production in much more faster and automated. Have you heard automation is the important aspect in the current era? Wherever possible, automation is implemented. DevOps is also helping implementation of automation, so which enables in rapid development products. So when companies traditionally, there will be only two teams, development team and operations team. Now, in the current industry, when many companies are implementing DevOps, so there will be three teams: development team, operations team, and a DevOps team. There will be three teams now. Traditionally, in the non-DevOps industry, if the company is not implementing DevOps, if the IT industry is not implementing DevOps, traditionally there will be two teams, as I told you, development team and operations team. If the IT company implements DevOps, then there will be three teams: development team, operations team, and DevOps team. So we coming to DevOps team. Our responsibility as a DevOps engineer is to collaborate between development team and operations team, regularly monitor these two teams, make sure that these two teams are in high performance by using our tools as a catalyst, promoting between development team and operations team to push the code into production at much more faster rate. When a client gives a new requirements, yes, we use DevOps tool in implementing automation in the software development life cycle so that it gets executed like it's a very, very interesting concept. So DevOps, as I told you, is a method, and this method can be implemented by using tools. So these are the tools which we'll be learning in our DevOps course. Okay, 1 minute, small change. It's not 6. It's from 11 to 12 noon, like how we have started today. The prerequisite for DevOps is Linux. So first 3 sessions we'll spend on Linux. We should all have basics of Linux. Because all these DevOps tools, understanding Linux, because all these DevOps tools, we will be managing it, installing it using the Linux commands. So first 3 sessions we'll be spending on Linux, and then we get into the actual tool of DevOps. Git is source code management tool and version controlling tool. Maven is a builder tool. Jenkins is used for automation. That's called as, so it's called as continuous integration, continuous delivery, CI/CD tool. Infrastructure provisioning and orchestration tool, Docker Swarm. Kubernetes is also orchestration tool. Configuration management tool, very, very important tool from the operations team point of view. That's called Ansible. Nagios monitoring tool and Terraform. These are the tools which are covered as part of this course. Clear? As a DevOps engineer, you have to be strong in these tools. If you're strong in whatever we are learning, yes, very good. You can easily attend the interviews. And all these DevOps tools, all this set of DevOps tools, we can learn it on AWS. Are you understanding? We can learn it on AWS. We can also learn it on Azure. Okay, so the set of DevOps tools, which I've shown you, we can learn it on AWS. The same set of tools, we can learn it on Microsoft Azure. We can also learn it on Google Cloud Platform also. Underlying platform changes, but the tools remain the same. So if you are learning DevOps on AWS, then you're called as AWS DevOps engineer. If you're learning these tools on Azure platform, then you're called as Azure DevOps engineer or GCP DevOps engineer. So depending on which platform you're learning. As I have mentioned in my first slide, the title you can see, we are learning DevOps on AWS. So all these course contents, whatever we are learning, we will be completely learning on AWS platform. You may have a question, Sunil, I'm 0 in AWS. Can I learn this particular course? Yes. Because whenever I am in communicating with AWS, I will explain those AWS concepts also, so that you will not feel any difficulty in understanding the concept. So even though you are 0 in AWS, you can continue this particular learning DevOps course. But when attending the interview, you will get questions on AWS also. That's the reason I also recommend you to strongly learn AWS Solutions Architect course. Okay, after DevOps, I also recommend to learn AWS course also, because in the interview, when you mention these 2 skill sets, then you will be having a good chances to get selected. So people learn DevOps first and then come to AWS. People learn AWS first and then to come to DevOps. But finally, you have to learn both these tools. Clear? Clear about this? Perfect. So this is what I have aimed for today's session. Today is the first demo. So continuation of this session will be in tomorrow. In tomorrow's session, what's our plan? As I told you, we will not start DevOps tools. The prerequisite for DevOps, as I told you, is Linux. So we'll be creating Linux on AWS account. Okay, so we'll be creating Linux environment. Okay, and then we'll make ourselves compatible with the AWS environment also. So tomorrow we will be creating a Linux mission on AWS and we are making ourselves comfortable on AWS environment. So this is our plan for tomorrow's session. Every session is recorded. Every session is recorded and all these sessions are recorded and you will have access to the recordings. Okay, so as you know, you have to sign up for this particular site, logiclabstep.com. This is like a Udemy site. You have to log in with your Gmail account and then go to upcoming batches. And then here, if you want to make the payment, here we have an option called buy now and you can complete the payment. Clear about this? Okay. So I hope you are in the WhatsApp group. So stay tuned and get updates in the WhatsApp group. Yes, Ayub, it's time for the interaction. Yes, Ayub, good evening. How is today's session? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Hi, nice, sir. Good.
Thank you.
Sir, my batch is, sir, shifting. You are calling you yesterday, or sir.
Okay.
Already,
I came to know.
No, I already your batch your shifting supporting team. Here, when I know my accident, sir. I know fracture and anything, sir. I'm not your complete your my course, sir. And not your understanding your, sir, but your I'm not background your IT or anything, sir. And you come to 6 o'clock is Ramjan is come now, sir. You are supporting your, sir.
Okay.
Please, sir, you can help me.
I will talk to you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Hello, Deepak. Yes, Deepak, your question. You are now allowed. I can see a hand raised. You are now allowed to unmute and talk. Okay. So that's it for today's session. See you tomorrow using the same link, like how you have joined today's session using the same Zoom meeting tool. Zoom meeting link, you can join demo tomorrow. First 3 sessions will be tomorrow, the demo sessions, 3 to 4 sessions. Yes, Deepak.
Actually, sir, I don't have knowledge on Linux.
No problem. We don't need to be strong in Linux. We have to be good in basics, that's all. You don't need to learn Linux administration. That's what I'm teaching here. See, you don't need to learn Linux. I am teaching you Linux, right? We start learning Linux from the beginning.
Okay.
Deepak? Okay.
Okay. For that, I need to create one AWS account.
Tomorrow I'll show you how to create AWS. Okay.
Okay.
That's our plan for tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, Vamsi.
Yeah, hi sir. This is Vamsi here, and I'm currently working as a Linux admin. So, is this Ansible full-fledged knowledge is required, or partial knowledge is required?
No, we will be learning Ansible commands and Ansible roles. That's enough.
Okay.
Ansible playbooks. That's enough. Okay.
Sure. What about Terraform, sir?
Terraform, we will be learning about basics of Terraform. Okay, because Terraform is actually AWS topic. Okay. Exclusive Terraform is a separate course of 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. How are you, Rahul?
Hello, sir. I'm fine.
Yes, your question.
Actually, sir, I am fresher. I am pursuing my BTech. I'm in last semester. So
which college, which university?
I am from Maharashtra, Shivaji University.
Okay.
So I am not good in programming and coding. So I want to learn this DevOps and cloud.
Correct. Very good.
So for entering in IT, should I just study for DevOps and cloud, or
this
should
is good, Rahul. This is latest doing rather than learning older technologies. Learn new one, as you are anyways not interested in the coding part. So Java, .NET, Python is ruled out for you because you're not interested in the coding part.
Yes.
The best thing is get into cloud because there's no coding much involved in AWS or DevOps because we are not developers, right? This is the right tag, Rahul. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for freshers, there are
openings, no doubt. Okay. If you have campus recruitments also,
yes.
If you mention these skills in your resume, it will add value.
Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, Vaibhav.
Hello.
Hi, Vaibhav. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Doing well, Vaibhav. Your location, your experience?
I am from Belgaum, sir, Karnataka. I am doing the network engineer job in Railwire from last 2 years. And
Indian Railways?
Sorry, sir.
Which is it related to Indian Railways?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is private sector, sir.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
is
I know
not.
it.
And I studied that AWS to look the videos on YouTube, and
Good.
afterwards I seen to means I have to move in DevOps, so
Yes.
I joined this course.
Very good.
That one question, sir, means Python is mandatory for this course.
No, not mandatory.
Not
Only
mandatory.
AWS is skilled resources which will add value. Python is not. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
That's all, friends. I hope you have enjoyed the session. See you tomorrow in same time with the same meeting link, where we'll continue how to create a new AWS account and working with Linux on AWS. That's our plan for tomorrow's session. Until then, have a good time. Thank you.